coalition of the petroleum exporting countries plus allies, that's the OPEC plus, decided to cut oil production. U.S. President Joe Biden vowed action against Saudi Arabia. Speaking to reporters at the White House as he left for a three-state swing, Biden pledged, and I'm quoting here, "We're going to react to Saudi Arabia." Listen in.
We're going to react to Saudi Arabia, and they're doing consultation when they come back, and we will take action.
Now, Biden's announcement came a day after powerful Democratic Senator Bob Menendez, who is the chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, said that the United States must immediately freeze all cooperation with Saudi Arabia, including arms sales. The U.S.'s strong criticism, it's a result of slashing oil production by 2 million barrels per day. This announcement by the OPEC Plus group led by Riyadh that came despite weeks of lobbying by the U.S. officials against such a move. The United States could not sway Saudi Arabia's de facto ruler, Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. Washington accused Saudi Arabia of towing to Russia, which objects to a Western cap on the price of Russian oil in response to Russia's invasion of Ukraine.
OPEC made the decision to align energy policy with Russia's war aims and against the American people, further underscores that reasoning to realign that relationship, to reevaluate that relationship with Saudi Arabia. We are reviewing where we are currently right now, and we'll be watching closely over the coming weeks and months as well, consulting with our allies and also with our with members of Congress.
Ladies and gentlemen, the job numbers for America are not looking good. And recently you had Bank of America come out and say that 175,000 jobs will be lost per month. And they're not talking about down the line. They're talking about immediately. So the Federal Reserve's fight to quash inflation will cause the U.S. economy to start losing tens of thousands of jobs a month, beginning early next year. And
just how bad is this fuel shortage then in France? It seems to have been building over weeks now.
Yes, it's been a struggle for weeks, but really a lot of struggle since last Friday, because this is when the situation became difficult. The latest number, 31% of gas stations in France as of today are running dry, and the situation is even more difficult in the Paris region. In the north of France, you've got about 45% of gas stations missing at least one type of fuel. So you can imagine the anger, the frustration, the queues at 3 a.m. in the morning, people waiting to fill their tanks. Some regions have put in place some measures, including rationing, including priority also for emergency vehicles. So the current situation is that 3 out of 6 refineries in France have been on strikes for 2 weeks, and a 4th refinery from Western France, which wasn't on strike until today, is actually joining the movement today. So the situation could get worse, and they are asking for a 10% pay rise. There's been some salary negotiations already with ExxonMobil. They managed to get 6% pay rise, but the CGT, more radical union, says they want more.
A major railroad union has rejected the temporary agreement brokered by the Biden administration, renewing the possibility of a rail strike that could cripple the economy.
Yeah, part of that deal that was reached last month granted rail workers a 24% pay increase, as well as an annual bonus payment of $5,000. There were also improved working conditions in the deal. But for the Brotherhood of Maintenance of Way Employees Division, well, that's not enough. In a statement, the union said 56% of its more than 11,000 workers voted against the tentative agreement, saying the deal doesn't do enough to address a lack of paid time off, among other issues. Now, rejecting the tentative agreement sets into motion a status quo period. That's where the union will resume negotiations with the large freight carrier.
This is the book of 2 Ezra chapter 16, verse 21, and it reads, "Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon the earth, that they shall think themselves to be in good case. and even then shall evils grow upon the earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. All praises, all power, all glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakaha Kradash. Yahweh being the name of the Father, who the world ignorantly calls God. Yahweh, meaning He exists. Ba'ashem, in the name. Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Yahweh Shai, meaning He delivers, He saves. Ba'ashem, in the name. Rakaha Kwadash, Spirit Holy. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who teach well and rule well. Who taught me this truth. Peace and salutation to the Akyam, the fellow laborers, the hopeful elect, pushing this truth at risk of their own lives throughout the four corners of the earth. And to the awkward listening and learning in sincerity and in truth, and in silence. Shalom. It's your brother Shema from the Pillars of Benjamin camp here in Toronto with another lesson. Now, we'll get right into it. We just watched a couple of news clips, All three of those news clips came out today. Well, now, yesterday, October 12th, 2022, the year of Yahweh Shemeshai turning up. Right? And many great miseries about to come on this place, man. Right? Right? You're going to have fuel shortages here in America, the Great Babylon the Great. Fuel shortages. We'll see where this rail strike thing goes with America the Great, Babylon the Great. They're saying it will cripple the economy. The economy is already crippled. It's being falsely propped up. Midterms are coming, so they got to keep things semi-balanced to the best of their ability. But it's already crippled. It's already tanking. You see what's going on over there in France with the fuel shortages? 3-hour, 4-hour queues for fuel. So France is a first world country, right? America the Great, Babylon the Great is a first world country. What's going to happen in America when there is no fuel out here? Right? We saw OPEC. This is from last week. They made the decision to reduce their barrels output. 2nd Ezra 16 verse 21. Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon the earth. Victuals is food. Those days are over, man. Cheap food, 5 for $1, $6.99. Those days are over. Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth that they shall think themselves to be in good case. Right? People have been rocked to sleep, man. Think themselves in good case. Everyone out here thought everything was all good, man. Right? It's turning up. And even then shall evils grow upon earth. Right? The whole time, people thought themselves to be in a good case, and victuals were cheap. Evils were growing upon the earth. What kind of evils? Sword, famine, and great confusion. Right? These are the times that we are in. Right? And listen, you don't want to hear no more of that. You don't want to hear any more of the doom. Change the channel. Right? We're prophesying the prophecies, man. And what are the prophecies? War, evil, and of pestilence, man. Right? These are the times that are coming. We're not in a time of peace. We're not in a time of getting it, good times. Right? People are going to starve out here, man. People are going to have to park their whips. People aren't going to be able to afford to run electricity, natural gas through their homes. People are going to need food rations, fighting over commodities. Verse 22, for many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. Right? So there's no escape, man. Either you're going to starve to death, or you're going to be destroyed by the sword. Right? Marauders, clicked up crews with the sword. What is the sword? The modern day gun. A killing instrument. Right? Let's go to Isaiah. Let's close. Isaiah 24 verse 8. Let's read this in the NLT. Isaiah 24 verse 8 in the NLT. The cheerful sound of tambourines is stilled, right? No more joyful sounds, no more tent cities and pubs, summer festivals. The cheerful sound of tambourines, musical instruments, is stilled. The happy cries of celebration are heard no more. The melodious chords of the harp are silent, right? That mirth is done, right? Verse 9 in the NLT. Gone are the joys of wine and song. Alcoholic drink turns bitter in the mouth, right? That pub. Listen, people are unhappy out here. Listen, there's going to be medication shortages. People need their medicine shortages. People need their insulin shortages. People need their mental health meds shortages. Booze ain't gonna help. 10th verse, NLT. The city writhes in chaos. Every home is locked to keep out intruders, right? The vibration of fear, people are not going to want it. People don't want to leave their homes now. And it's going to increase. It's going to escalate. 11th verse, NLT. Mobs gather in the streets, crying out for wine, right? Answers. People want answers. Upwards of people. People want to know what's going on. Right? You saw those gas line queues in France? That's coming to America, man. You're going to see food line queues in America. Right? Mobs gather in the streets crying out for wine. Joy has turned to gloom. Gladness has been banished from the land. Right? These are the times that are coming, man. Gladness has been banished from the land. Where? Here in America. America the Great. Babylon the Great. Right? KJV, Isaiah 24 verse 8. The mirth of tabrets ceaseth, the noise of them that rejoice endeth, the joy of the harp ceaseth. They shall not drink wine with a song, strong drink shall be bitter to them that drink it. The city of confusion, America. The Hebrew word for confusion is Babel, right? The root word of Babylon is Babel. The city of confusion is broken down. Every house is shut. Every house is shut up that no man may come in. There is a crying for wine in the streets. All joy is darkened. The mirth of the land is gone. Stay prayed up, pray without ceasing. Shalom to the hopeful elect.